Hello, everyone, and welcome along to this live webinar. And today we have a special guest, Lewis Dawson from Platinum, property investor, entrepreneur. Lewis, I will let you introduce yourself. We have very interesting agenda for today. So perhaps we can start with that. If you can, you know, tell people a few words about yourself, about your experience, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, of course. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. So yeah, thanks very much for taking the time, guys, and for joining us on this webinar. Really an absolute pleasure to be on here with Avram. We've been collaborating for a while now, and it's nice to get in front of the camera and start speaking to some of you guys. But yeah, I help people deploy capital to help them build wealth through property using systems and processes that I've personally used to help me build a portfolio of over 5 million, but also, and more importantly, help me get the freedom to be now living in Portugal with my family and having that kind of work-life balance, I suppose, that everyone thrives for and drives, and the reason why we all work so hard. And what I've done over the last kind of 5 years is I've been at the start where I didn't have capital to invest, and I learned how to raise it. I learned how to become the middleman and work with clients to be able to find them assets, but then ultimately to allow me to have the funds to build my own assets, to build my own portfolio. And now I can help people kind of in them two sectors. Whether someone is experienced, like you put a two on here, and you want to scale your portfolio to 10K a month passively, or you're someone just starting out and you haven't maybe got the knowledge yet to be able to do property, but you want to be able to then get to that same point in the future. So yeah, thanks for being on there. And then more importantly than that, and I suppose the bridge really is using softwares like Lendlord to help you get faster. When I first started 5, 6 years ago, it wasn't the same kind of softwares available. So now it's actually just way quicker to get to that end destination. So yeah, I'm excited to show you guys how Lendlord can help you get there faster than maybe I did in a 4 year period, right?
Yeah, thanks, Luis, and we're to have you here with us today. Let me share the agenda so we can see the topics for today. Um, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so introduction, you can say we actually did it. Now, market insights and what's really happening right now. There are so many things going on in the background. Renters' Right Act that just passed, and budget that is coming end of November. Definitely there is an impact on the market, and we'd love to hear your thoughts, Luis, on that. Then if you can share some top tips about how you source properties, and perhaps we can get some of your some things from your experience and knowledge. Then we will do together a live BRR strategy analysis. We will pick a product, and then we will use the Lendlord software to do it. And then we will present also the LendlordAI feature, which can help you get more insights when you analyze properties. And we will have a questions and answers session. So feel free to ask anything you want to know about Lendlord or about investment strategies from Lewis. You can also write questions on the chat as we go. If it's relevant, we'll answer. If not, we'll answer in the end. We are running a promotion during this webinar time, as we usually do. It's a 50% off for our premium plan. Xenia, if you can put the details, how they can apply. Also, if there are new users, there is a link for new users to register with the coupon code, and I will show you how you can activate it. Just for if there are some new people, a Lendlord is all-in-one platform for property investors. You can manage your existing portfolio with Lendlords, manage due dates, documents, cash flow, and more. The invest section, this is the place to source properties from estate agents, auction houses. I believe our webinar today will focus on this area mainly. The deal analyzer is a very enhanced tool to analyze any property deal in different strategies and also different cases. We will highlight and demo this feature during this webinar time. And you can get more with our premium plan. On the manage section, manage your documents, send documents for to signature. On the invest part, on the sourcing tabs, you can apply sourcing criteria. You can see the full address, and you can also run property, online valuation, rent valuation, and more. How you can upgrade to the premium plan, either click on the link on the chat or go to the settings page from your Lendlord account. On the plan details, click upgrade, and we have a coupon today. The value is 13/11/25, which is the date of today. Click apply coupon, and you will get both plans with 50% off. Only 49.5 for the entire year for the premium plan, or 149.5 for the premium plus. Very valuable and also affordable. And you can also get some benefits if you if you apply for finance to the platform for mortgages and bridging. All right, so let's go back to the agenda. So, Lewis, I think the first topic is about the market. Happy to hear your thoughts, how you see the things now with the new reforms, new government, not so new, but with what is basically is going to be in the budget, and what strategies investors should adopt these days, also
Yeah.
looking toward 2026.
No, agreed. I think obviously there's a lot of doom and gloom in the media in regards to the autumn budget and the tax changes and proposals to things like um, stamp duty being removed and having a wealth tax on properties over a certain amount of money. In regards to my feelings on it, I think it's just more important than ever to plan ahead when you're going into property and have the right knowledge to do it. Because when I first started, things like Section 24 were quite prominent. So when I came in, I had the right education. I spent a lot of money on my education to make sure that I didn't fall into the trap of the Section 24 tax, which for any of you guys that don't know what that is if you buy properties in your personal name and you're renting them properties out, the mortgage payments, you used to be able to claim that as an expense against your profits. However, with Section 24, you can't do that now, right? So the whole mortgage becomes, an expense to you. And the same things are going to apply in this new budget. So whatever they release on the budget, tax changes, VAT changes, stamp duty changes, wealth tax changes, it's just more important than ever to have the right structure in place with your company or with your business, and look at it as a business before you build a portfolio, because that's what it is. And I think a lot of people, especially that when I grew up, they had one or two properties and they were a landlord, but they didn't treat it like a business. So when things like Section 24 and stuff came into play, it killed them off, and that meant they sold their assets. Now, on the flip side, the positives are, with all these tax changes, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are in that sector that haven't educated themselves, haven't set the right structures up, and they are forced out of the market, which means as someone who's an educated investor with money to invest, or with the capability to raise money through the likes of Lendlord bridging and mortgages, or through private investors, they're going to be able to cash in on them changes. And it all comes down to the key aspect, which is, do I have the knowledge to make sure I can set up the right preparation and the right setup to be able to capitalize on that unfortunate situation of people that haven't. So that's the way I look at it on a broad scale. Obviously, with my clients, I go into it a lot more detail, and that hopefully that helps people understand kind of where they should look at first. Is education is key. But don't always believe all of the hype that's coming up on social media and the media doom and gloom of it, because there'll be pros and cons for every scenario. So that's
Yeah,
my yeah,
yeah, I think it's important, like basically to choose a strategy and then look at the specific scenario and then the pros and cons. If we speak about strategies, what strategies usually you use if you look at the past, but then what you are about to use in the near future and perhaps also during 2026?
yeah. No, great question. And my strategy hasn't changed since really day one. And that is I always look to recycle capital through leveraging debt because it's tax free, number one, in every scenario. And that's not going to change as far as I know at the moment. So, what I tend to advise people to do is even if they have £1 million in the bank, like some of my clients have, for 5 million, or they have 30, 40 grand in the bank, it's how quickly can you recycle that capital and use it again and again and again to build a portfolio, because there's only really two things that stop you building a portfolio. Number one, and the most important thing, it happens to every investor, is capital. If they can't find the next surplus of cash, the portfolio is going to stop at some point. Doesn't matter if you have 10 million in the bank or 30 grand. It's just a different level that they're going to stop at. And the second thing is finding the deals, right? So finding deals that actually stack. And so many of my clients that are experienced investors I work with on a one-to-one basis, they don't know the difference really between a good and a bad deal because they don't know how to analyze it. And once you can crack that nut, I can, if someone sends me a Rightmove link or a link from Lendlord or wherever, I know within probably 30 seconds of looking at that link whether it's a green, an amber, or a red deal. I look at it like a traffic light situation. So kind of my vision on it, I suppose, is I still do the same strategy today that I done when I started in 5 years ago, and I don't think any tax changes or politics changes are going to change that. But now my understanding of how good a BRR is so much stronger than it was 5 years ago. So that's kind of my advice, really. The strategy doesn't change. It's just your education level and the softwares you use to get there are way faster. Some of my clients now are using these Lendlord softwares, and we're saving us so much time where I used to build these kind of deal analyzers, which are still great. I use them still today. But having something like Lendlord or another AI analyzer to use just saves a lot of the time there as well, you know?
Yeah, I think it's so important. I think technology these days are here to help, of course,
Yeah.
with AI, especially with vertical AI. Vertical AI, I called because you can always use ChatGPT,
Yeah.
Claude, Anthropic, but then you need to upload the information, you need to feed it. What we are trying to do with Lendlord, and I know that other PropTech companies are doing it as well, is basically to take the AI capabilities into the platform. So then you can train the AI agents on the property industry in general, but also on a specific cases, and also you can integrate it into the account of the user. So basically, you can get relevant insights based on, for instance, if you are now sourcing a deal or like you are viewing a property on Lendlord, like in one click, you can get insights from a chatbot that is connected to this specific deal. And then if you analyze it, you can get some insights about the analysis and you can perform follow-up questions. And then you can also connect it to the web so you can get enhanced and enriched information based on other sources that there are there on the web. So definitely the technology is key. One interesting question for me in terms of strategy, always like people, lots of people asking us like if you to keep the property or to buy for profit. Like basically, if you compare the BRR strategy, which basically or buy to let, that you purchase the property and the goal is to keep it for the long term for the cash flow and property appreciation, or to do more like short-term project to find opportunities, perhaps even buy a property below market value, then perform some kind of a refurbishment and sell it at a higher value for profit. What is your take on those two strategies, and what is basically your favorite?
So for anyone that kind of consumes my content, on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, wherever, I think you'll see a lot is I talk a lot about holding assets and not flipping it. And I suppose that's for two reasons. Number one, where I heavily invest is the north of England. And we all know it's a lower entry level in the north and higher yields. If you didn't know that, obviously that's kind of how it is. But when it comes to the flip strategy, you can't get the highest returns probably in the north of England as you could probably in south, but you need a lot more capital to get going. And I don't see the point in spending £300,000 in the north and maybe making 50 grand profit in 6 months, 9 months, a year, where you could spend 300 grand, hold an asset that makes you 20 grand a year. Because after 3 years, that asset you still own has made you more profit than the one flip would do. So for me personally, I look at the exit strategy before I find the deal. So what strategy gets me to the goal where I want to get to? Is it HMO? Is it service accommodation? Is it buy to let? But ultimately, a lot of the time, it's all three. I have,
Just one question. The goal would be a metric that you want to achieve, or what?
yeah.
What is it?
So some of my clients will come to me and say, look, my only goal is get to 10K a month passive income,
All right.
right?
Okay.
And this word passive is thrown around all the time. Now, if you want passive, you normally have to pay for that privilege, right? Through the right, sourcing agents, through the right refurbishment teams, through the right letting agents to make it fully passive for you eventually. So I say to them, I'd strip it down a bit further. Is it more important to be passive for you, or is it more important for it to be 10K a month for you? And which decision you make determines which strategy you'll go for. Because if you want it to be you do it all and not pay the extra for these services, buy to let might be the right way because there's less headache there. But if you want it to be fully passive but also very high cash flow in and get to your goal faster, you need to do more creative strategies like SA and HMO and then be willing to pay the right companies to manage it for you to make it completely passive.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I look at. Is like, what's the goal and where do you want to get to and how quickly? Then we look at the strategy and we go, okay, cool. So does HMO help you get there faster? Service accommodation, buy to let, or even flip? Flip might help you get there faster. For me personally, I like holding assets and I like a lot of my clients like holding it because you only, in my eye, in investing, you only lose if you sell, right? If you sell below what you anticipated to be, you've lost. But if you hold the asset and it hasn't worked out the same way as you initially planned, you're eventually going to get that return on property based on historical data over 10 years, 20 years, 30 years.
Right.
The property is always going to increase. So you have two chances to win. The first time might not go as well as you first planned, but then over the next 5, 10 years, when you're recycling the capital again, you eventually win. So I
Yeah,
suppose
it can open like future opportunities, in terms of capital raising. So if there is a property appreciation, and based on the history, usually there is, then perhaps in 5 years you will have, you have some equity in
yeah,
those properties that will help you grow your portfolio even further.
100%. And yeah, I'll give you a real life example. So for me personally, I've recently bought a barn conversion which I inherited through my late father. And back 4 or 5 years ago, that property in the market would have sold for probably 300 grand, 200 to 300 grand more than what it's kind of worth today because of the drops and everything that's happened. But now by knowing what to do with it and I'm spending just under 100 grand kind of renovating it, I'll bring it back up to kind of them peak numbers, but also because I'll hold the asset, I'll then leverage that money back out via debt and not pay tax on the appreciation. Where if my father would have sold it back then 4 or 5 years ago, he'd have been passing that down to me and my sister. He'd have then been subject to it would have been subject to inheritance tax and so on and so forth. So we've kind of eradicated a lot of the tax implications for selling it by keeping hold of it and holding while the market's dropping rather than selling. What we could have done is inherited it and sold it for less money, but also then paid taxes on it. But instead I've held it, recycled it, and I won't pay tax on the debt.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
it's
Yeah.
just understanding kind of the best strategies that meet that specific deal.
Okay. Yeah, good. Yeah, great tips. Let's speak now about sourcing. And first, if I may, I want to show how you can utilize Lendlord in order to do some kind of online search. Let me share the screen again. So on Lendlord, you will find on the invest section, the sourcing tabs. So here basically we have a feed from estate agents all around the UK, and you can filter those properties based on tenor type, sale price, property type, says mean like price range, and also if you just want to see properties that the price has decreased in the last 7 days. And you can also, of course, use the address bar to pick the specific address with a radius from this address to see if there are properties around this location.
Yeah.
Then on each property, you will find the details. You can click on the show comparables to see comparables on the map near this property. This is basically recent sold properties. You can get the postcode insights and the initial analysis. We also have the auctions tab. And here you will find the auction lots from online auction houses all around the UK. On the premium plan, you can also add properties to your watch list. On the premium plan, you can also go to the auction website to get more information or to place a bid. And you can see the Google map basically to explore the area and more. And also you can use the LendlordAI to summarize a specific listing and then perform some follow-up questions. LendlordAI also is limited on the basic version, but you have it in more capacity on the premium and unlimited on the premium plus, which you can get with the 50% off during this webinar time. Then I think the strongest thing is the sourcing alerts. So you can first on properties on your watch list, you can define notifications on price increase, price decrease, and before auction date if it's an auction lot. But you can also create your own search criteria. And it starts with selecting an address, radius from this address, price range. You can also range the number of bedrooms and the types that you are interested in. You click save, and then starting this point, every day that we identify a new opportunity matches your criteria, you will get a notification either to your email or to your mobile if you use our mobile app. Now, one more thing, we just released, I think a few weeks ago, the Chrome extension, and I want to show it to you. Ksenia, if you can put the Chrome extension link on the chat. And then Chrome extension is also part of the premium plan if you want to use it fully.
Just to jump in there, Avram, I think
Right.
that's one of the key time savers, because we often will be scrolling through Rightmove or Zoopla, or even sometimes on Facebook you'll see links to properties that might take your fancy, and using this deal analyzer Google Chrome extension just is a game changer. So yeah, I'm excited to show this to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say that you are now on Rightmove and found this property. And you mentioned it before, Luis. It's like it's all about analysis. You need to see if the number stacks up. How much cash investment I need to put? What would be my net cash flow? Do I need to perform some refurbishment? So if you download the Chrome extension, once Ksenia will put it on the chat, we will share the link as well. So I just need to click on the Chrome extension Lendlord Deal Analyzer. Select the strategy. It can be buy to let, flip, or BRR. Let's do buy to let as a start. And then Lendlord will fetch the information from this Rightmove page. With our LendlordAI, we'll also put some assumptions about future predictions for property appreciation, also refurbishment, GDV if you use BRR strategy, and more. You can see that basically the price is the same price you have here. Rental income is the estimation based on the data that you have on Rightmove or based on the area. So we will use the yield to calculate the potential rental income. And then instantly you get all the information to Lendlord, and you can get the metrics for the short term with how much cash investment you need to put, what will be your net cash flow, return on capital deployed, and more. And you can play with the sliders here if you want to see if you will need to bid higher or lower, if the rent income will be a bit higher, what it will do to your metrics.
One thing to add to that, if you go to where it says capital needed, Avram, total cash investment there, if you press the I, where it says there like refurb costs, I think one of the biggest things that holds people back in buying rundown properties is they don't know how much it's going to cost to like put a new kitchen in or a new bathroom in or the electrics or whatever. And this is something obviously you can learn by working kind of with the right people, but Lendlord, by pulling all the data, is kind of doing a lot of that work for you. So yes, it's not going to be exact,
Yeah.
but it gives you a good base number to work from. So that massively helps some of my clients, especially to cut that time down because it's all about speed. The best deals go fastest. I know I have this every day. Some of my clients send me a deal. I'm like, secure it because it will be gone. If it's that good, if it's a green deal, it's going to be gone because there's lots of people out there that are looking for these deals. So, speed to lead is super, super important. If you can get it into the analyzer, have a brief understanding of what it's going to cost you, it meets all your metrics. Like get in there and put your offer in because if not, it will be gone because there's another 150 to 200 people probably looking at that specific deal at the same time you are.
Absolutely, yes. And we on the sourcing tabs, we have the option also to contact the agent. This is also part of the premium plan. So you can see exactly who is the agent that acting for this property. You have the website, you have the email and phone number, and you can also click on send email. We phrase an email for you, but you can rephrase it with LendlordAI if you want to make changes or just edit the text and send an email to this agent in one click. So on the listing page, you just need to go to choose the strategy you want, buy to let, flip, or BRR. Click on review and tweak. You get the metrics, and then you can make decisions and contact the agent. Another
That's
thing,
great. That is really great. I didn't even know there was that email tab there. So that's something I've just learned on this call. So that can massively help, as
yes,
well.
this is like we are always adding features. We encourage people to upgrade to our premium plan, which because it's quite affordable. This is also part of the premium plan. Let me remind people that during this webinar time, you have the promotion. Go to your settings page or click on the link that Ksenia put on the chat. Click upgrade, then put the coupon code. This is the date of today, 13/11/25. Click apply coupon, and you should get the discount for the first year, for the entire year. Yeah, I see many questions. We will try to answer them shortly. Ksenia just put the Chrome extension link. This is the Chrome extension. You can just download it to your Chrome browser, and then it will be available when you are on Rightmove, Zoopla on the market. In one click, take the data from Rightmove to Lendlord Deal Analyzer and analyze the deal. All right. So I think the next topic, Luis, is to analyze. Let's try to analyze deal and break down the numbers. Just to hear, I want to hear your thoughts and like the way you think about deals. So we can use actually. Tell me if it's okay. Like we can use this property,
Okay.
and we will use it as a BRR. So let's think that it requires more renovation. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's start with the Chrome extension. I will click on Lendlord Deal Analyzer. Then I'm selecting BRR strategy and
Yeah.
Deal Analyzer.
So before we go to the deal analyzer, Avram, can we just go
Yeah,
back, let it load, but go back to the original link just so I like to do a few pre-checks
definitely.
before using the analyzer. So okay, so just real basic. If we go from the start, I'll tend to look at the floor plan first. So if we can click at the floor plan, because my goal, especially with a BRR, is where can I add the most value as quickly as possible? And there's kind of the biggest way you can add value is by increasing volume of people living in that property, right? So if you have a large 2 bed, you turn it into a 3 bed. Or if you have a large 3 bed, can you turn it into a 4 bed? Now, I'm not talking just HMO, I'm just talking in general, right? If you look on Rightmove or wherever, 2 beds go for less than 3 beds, 3 beds go for less than 4 beds, and so on and so forth, right? So when I'm looking at this property, it might not be possible, but the first thing I'm looking for is does the floor plan allow me to add any bedroom? Now, the answer to this one is probably no.
Luis, so
But
basically you will keep the total size of the property and you will just want to change the structure because I believe in order to extend it, you need permissions and things like that. But the question,
yeah,
I mean, if you want just to add a room, you don't need permit for that, or you do?
so you don't tend to need permission unless you're dealing with, drainage or so that's things like, bathrooms. Or you're obviously extending out of the property or up into the loft and things like that. Now, obviously, check that with your local council because it depends on the council you're working with. But adding, partition walls and putting a bed in a room that was originally a dining room or a study that is not going to, warrant any specific certifications to start with, Again, do check that with your specific council at the time. But turning a 3 into a 4 by just adding a stud wall is not going to equate for that. But back to that's a great question because it does, compliance is key. So the first thing I'll look at is the floor plan. The second thing I'm going to look at really is just the general wear and tear of the property. So if we just flick across the photos really quick. And again, this is going to give me an understanding of if I can increase value. So looking at this specific property, the answer to adding bedrooms was a no, really. The answer to can I add some value in, just a general uplift? Maybe, but not massive. The kitchens and bathrooms aren't in terrible condition, and kitchens and bathrooms can massively add value as well. And then what I'll do is if you can go back around to the actual listing, we'll scroll down and we'll look to see if there's things like tenants in situ. So if we scroll up a little bit further, back to the description, sorry, the key points. So we've got, I'm looking to see if there's tenants in situ or is it vacant possession. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Go a bit further up if we can, Avram, to the key points. So here we go. So please see virtual tour, 2 bedrooms, allocated parking, close to local amenities, chain free. So things like chain free is great. You're not going to wait for that person to buy somewhere and then you're going to be in a chain. Open plan living, 4-piece suite, close to train station, near accesses. So all of these little points, like things like close to amenities and train stations, parking, visitor parking, chain free, they're all little ticks in the box, and then normally on there, let's say it's a tenanted property, it would tell you how much it's tenanted for, how long the tenant's been there, and the likelihood of that increase as an investment property. And then I'll flick across to the deal analyzer.
Okay, and we'll choose the BRRR strategy, yeah?
Yeah, so this one, you're probably looking at a buy-to-let more than a BRR, but we can choose it just for the purpose of
that's for I want people to understand
the purpose of the call.
Let's say that we feel that we can do something with this property.
Yeah, so let's say this is run down. We need to change kitchens, bathrooms, and increase the value of the asset.
All right. Okay.
So the first thing I'm looking at is my brief numbers of property purchase price and then the after value cost. So straight away there we can see kind of there's the 20K, 26K difference. So we can see there's an increase on value, which is great. And now I need to look at the third number, which is the refurb number. Does that refurb number, once I've spent it and all my closing costs and things, is it worth making that 20K uplift? And the way I look at that is I scroll down to the return on capital deployed, money left in the deal. Yeah. Now, when I'm looking at these types of numbers,
perhaps you can explain what is money left in the deal. I think it's a very important metric on BRR. Here it's not great, yeah, but we can improve it now if we change the numbers, yeah.
100%, yeah. So let's say if you just click on the I next to the initial capital investment, one above for a second.
Yeah. Perhaps just I will explain. Money left in the deal, correct me if I'm wrong. So if I put like cash in, okay, you want to extend it from the cash investment. Yeah, so if I, take it from you, the cash investment.
Yeah. So the first thing I need to look at, and I take it this is buying on a bridge, right? So whenever I'm looking at a BRR, I never want to look at buying on a mortgage, ideally, because the goal is to buy it, renovate it, and then put it onto a mortgage in as short a period of time as you can, whether that's 6 months, whether that's a year, however long it takes you to do. So my first goal is to try and buy this using bridging loans or development finance, and using development finance for the build, and or cash, so from private investors. So we can see here with a bridging deposit, I'm going to need 32.5. Stamp duty, which now obviously it's at the 5% level. Closing costs, which is things like your solicitor, your survey, and so on and so forth to buy the asset. And then refurb, what's it going to cost me to get it up to the standard of the 156,000? And then let's say I take it this bridging loan is default to 12 months, is it, Avram? Or
yeah, you can always go to the summary and see the assumptions of the platform. So we assumed closing cost of, for instance, 1,600, but you can go click
And
on
change these. Yeah.
then you can change it. If you have also, I don't know, agent fee, you can edit. It's very important to
To
include,
look into this.
yeah, to factor in all the costs associated just to make
If
sure
we
that you
if
have
we
the
change
right.
that, that's really good. If we change that to 6 months on the project length,
Yeah, okay.
just a bit further
So
up, there's under purchase details, the bridging project length in months, just change that to 6 under the refurb cost there.
yeah, yeah. We have a slider as well in the. All right, 6. Yeah,
Yeah. And then like you said, you could add these in if there's an auction, there'd be different fees. And if there's a sourcing fee, there's going to be different fees. So you could make some edits. But if we save that, what I'm trying to look at is my total cash investment. Number one, have I got that level of capital to invest in that asset? And then number two, on the back end, when you go down to money left in the deal, which is the I, if you click the I on next to it as well.
yeah,
So this initial investment of 50,905 to buy the asset, that tells me I'm going to be pulling out 10,000 of that back into my back pocket, tax free if you're using a mortgage. And then I'm going to be leaving 40,000 of my equity, my cash in as equity.
yeah. And this is because you were able to refinance at a higher value at 75%. This is the assumption.
100%. So that's assumption if it's worth the 156 after the works, we'll put it on a 75% loan to value mortgage and we'll recycle 75% of that and you know and leave the 25% in. Now the 25% left in on this deal specifically would be the money left in the deal, which is 40,290.
Right. And then if you increase it to, I don't know, 180, okay? Let's
Yep.
then you can see that you can get more money back because the value is higher. You can get refinance at higher value. So I think this is the key on BRR. If you can spend as much less as you can in order to increase as much value as you can.
Mm.
All the time it's possible, yeah. So you need to find the right opportunity and you need to get some assessment for the refurb costs. Which you can do by the way with LendlordAI. You can ask questions about that. But we are now working on a new works plan generator that will help you assess the initial works you need to perform. This is like under work and hopefully we'll release this feature soon.
100%. Yeah. So exactly that. So if we could prove with evidence that it's, let's say, worth 180,000, the money left in this deal then reduces massively. And there's key numbers I'm looking for really. And the key numbers is when I'm buying a BRR investment, ideally I want to leave in less than maybe £30,000 is kind of a key number. Obviously, the less the better, but I wouldn't ideally look at anything that I'm leaving more than £30,000 in at this level of investment. But more importantly than that, I'm looking for at least a 20% ROI. So is it on there? Does it say the ROI anywhere there?
Yeah. So you have the long-term ROI, which is basically for the holding period. You have the return on capital deployed for 1 year. This is
Yeah, spot
basically
on. So
yeah, this is calculated on the net annual cash flow.
yeah,
Okay, net annual cash flow on your cash investment. Now, the cash investment that we calculate on BRR is the money left in the deal. Okay, so
yeah.
you completed the refurb project.
I think we just need to mute
Yeah, yeah.
these guys
There is
here.
there is some kind of background
No,
noises.
yeah, they're muted now. Great.
All
No,
right.
agreed.
Then
So
basically, yeah. So we calculated on net annual cash flow. I think that perhaps the yield here is very low, like perhaps we should go
yeah,
to 8%. Okay. So, because if the value is actually 180, perhaps, especially in the north, you should expect higher rents, no?
100%, yeah. So with the yield numbers, if we touch on that a second, the gross yield I'm looking for ideally is around the 8% mark or higher.
Yeah.
So this one's now close when you look at that. And then with your net yield, obviously that'll filter down based on your costs. But now the return on capital deployed is where we need it to be, right? So ideally, I'm looking for the deal to be a minimum of 20% on the return on capital deployed. And as you said there, that's calculated by dividing if you
That's
just put
on the money left in the deal. Yeah.
100%. So if you're getting to 20% return on that money left in, that's a very good investment. If you're getting 10, that's probably not where you want to be.
Yes.
So now we've pulled the numbers up. If we can prove them numbers are correct, so it'll rent for £1,000 per month. And the way I do that is by speaking to local agents in the area to find out how much it will rent for, looking on things like Open Rent and Rightmove renting properties, and again checking that that thousand is correct, and then finally checking that the after value is correct as well. So the way I do that, which is probably the most important factor, is I'll go back to Rightmove now. So now I've looked at these metrics and made some changes to see if it's around my capital employed number. I'll scroll down to sold prices in the area.
But you know that you have it on Lendlord as well, Luis.
Okay, you do. Brilliant. Happy
Yeah,
days.
just though you can first,
There we go. Yeah, comparables, 100%.
yeah, you can go to the postcode insight, and you just need to complete it, and
Yeah,
uh, it's
better.
instantly information about. By the way, you can use postcode insight is also a premium feature. Basic plan is only 3 searches, so you should upgrade to premium in order to use it with full capacity. You can
100%.
see the capital growth over the last 7 years, statistics about rental, the asking prices in this area, and the comparables here. You can also see the comparables on the map here if you just
Yeah.
click on this toggle, and you can see. So if you want to see the rent stats, you can see it as well here on the postcode insights.
Oh, brilliant.
The
Okay, yeah,
list,
since you've got,
the list of comparables are also here if you want to take a look on Google Map and see a specific property as well.
yeah. Can you
Uh,
narrow down the type of property? So obviously this one's an apartment.
yeah.
Can you narrow down to
So,
just that only?
yes, if you want to see flats, not so many, so there's like 125 in
So for
July, but you can go here, so it's like another one in 2024.
yeah,
Yeah,
me personally, I steer away from flats and leasehold properties when I'm looking at the BRR strategy in the north for two reasons. Number one, when you've got a lease, the lower the lease drops, so let's say 70 years, 60 years, 50 years, the less valuable that asset becomes because someone has to renew that lease. But also number two, like you said, you tend to find more comparables on an apartment where it's sold for less than sold for more in terms of sometimes, because the lease, which is not a direct comparable, because if someone's got a 150-year lease or someone's got a 50-year lease, even though they're the same looking property, the actual property itself isn't justifying the price. It's the lease itself.
yeah.
But on the purpose of this meeting, what I'm looking for on this
Oh,
comparable is
one
if I
second, Luis, another thing I forgot to say, because there is another way to assess the values.
lovely,
You click edit and you go to purchase details. Where is the rental income? Yeah, so you can click on get estimation.
lovely,
Okay, let me see if I get all the fields. Yeah, so you have everything here: property value before, property rental income before, property value after, rental income after. Okay, so you need to put the type. Yeah, type is the type. Internal area, it's very hard to change. Let's increase it a bit just for this example. Let's say 70. And Louis, let's say that you now add in one room. Okay, I want to see the difference
brilliant. Yeah,
values. And from below average, you actually improve it to very high. Okay,
brilliant.
then you click estimate, and you will see here now. Oh, okay, didn't fetch the results for. Okay, I chose I think the wrong postcode.
But the point of that is,
You do have any other postcode, but let's just try that in your head.
um, let's just do a property I was looking at the other day. So, um, give me 1 second. Sorry. Lee.
So this is
So
a
let's
simple
do.
picture. There are times that I don't know why it didn't fetch in this example.
It's okay. It's okay. Um, so let's do
Ah, okay, someone.
PS 17 7DQ.
Okay, again,
TS17
yeah,
7DQ.
this one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Pull the
try.
data through, or because you need to change all them figures. If not.
No, I think it's just for the example. I can assume, I don't know, perhaps it's the construction date, or there is a problem in communication right now. Let's try this. Let's
It
test.
wouldn't be a flat either, so
Ah, okay.
it would be a house.
Okay, perhaps there is a bug. Xenia, if you can check it with the engineering team,
And
let's
change it to a
have try.
terraced. Change it to a terraced house or something. Yeah.
Let's increase the internal area should be in square meters. Let's give it another try.
But the great thing about what this allows you to do, normally you'd have to go back to all of the other channels like Rightmove and places to find this data. This is pulling it all into one place for you to save you time again.
Yeah. All right, we started to get some results. Okay, so rental income before, income after.
Brilliant.
You have one more bedroom. And also if you improve the finish quality from below average to very high, property
Yep.
value before is 145. Property value after, we'll see in a second, but
Brilliant.
200. And this
Great.
is, so when you do BRR, this is a great way to get indication because this API, and we use property data for that, is based on many data points in this specific area. So it's not fully accurate. Of course, it's not like you actually send someone to inspect the property, but it definitely can give you some indication about the values in this area. This estimation tool is also part of the premium plan, and you have the 50% off during this webinar time to upgrade. Ksenia, if you can remind people on the chat. Um, so if you use it, then you can get some indication about values, and if you improve the property, what it can be, and also rental incomes.
And this is great because these types of things is probably my old way of doing it is I'm used to just going back to all of the other platforms to find this data. But now what this is allowing you to do within 10 minutes or so, you know whether you need to send a builder there or go and view it. And a lot of investors and clients, they won't be searching for properties in and around their area. So they can't just pop out to the property, even for me. And having all this data, you can then analyze maybe 100 properties in a day or a couple of days, narrow it down to 10, 15, 20 you want to go and view. And then you can send someone there for 2 or 3 days to view all these properties rather than before. When I first started 4 or 5 years ago, I'd view 15, 10, 15 properties every week, or five a day sometimes just to get this level of analysis. Now you haven't got to leave your desk.
I think this is the point now. I think today with technology, um, you can save time. Like if you like instead of 5 properties that you can analyze or view a week, you can perhaps do 20 now and just pick the right ones for you because you have more technology, more insights, as you see, like so much data. You can use just click on the summarize with AI, so you'll get a summary of this specific analysis, and you can do some follow-up questions. And I think, yeah, it's definitely time saving.
And the return as well is the level of result when you do go and view that property, then you're kind of 90% there on whether you're going to offer it on it before you arrive. Where before it was probably about 20% chance. Every 5 properties you saw, you probably were going to offer on one once you've seen it because you couldn't do it this much analysis. Now you're 90% of the way there before you even leave your house or someone goes and leaves your house. So you can more or less leave an offer then on the table as you walk out of the property.
Yeah, I
And then
agree.
again, speed to lead, super important. So if you're viewing it, let's say today at 12 o'clock, and you can put your offer in at 10 past when you leave, but previously you'd have to leave the house, go back and do all your analysis, work out all your figures. You probably could put your offer in later that day, and the deal's gone by then. So if you don't sort of keep up with the way that the world is moving faster by using technologies like this, you'll miss a lot of deals before they come as
Yeah,
well.
I agree. Definitely. One more thing, you can also generate report with our premium plan. You can include the future scenarios or not. And this is a great way to share a specific deal with others. So you can see a summary of the analysis. And you can also share it by clicking on the share button, and you can send it through an email. And then this person will get an email with a link to this analysis on their Lendlord account, or we'll ask them to create a free account in order to see this deal.
This is great as well, Avram, because my clients do this with me now. Once
Amazing.
I've educated them on a good deal and a bad deal, they'll actually send me these. And rather than just getting a right move link, which has no analysis on it, I'm now receiving a very snapshot version of what they've done. And I can go back with my amber, green, or red symbol on WhatsApp normally or an email straight away. And within minutes, they've got the approval from someone like myself who, they're
Yeah.
paying for education with, but also they give them the confidence to know they're on the right path with the deals they're finding as well. So again, speed to lead there is so much quicker.
Yeah. And I wanted to say something and I forgot. Yeah, I will tell you a secret that we are going to add now to the deal analyzer more tabs. So once you analyze the deal on Rightmove, hopefully we'll be able to take also the photos and the description and more details. So they will be there for you on like one of the tabs on the deal analyzer. So
Brilliant.
if you want to get more enhanced report, then it will allow you to do it. Um,
One
so
question
yeah.
for you, Avram. Where does it pull the data from for the refurb?
It's LendlordAI for now, based on the description only for now, and
Okay.
assess the refurb amount. So because of that, you saw like this property doesn't need so much, so you assess 6.5.
Yeah.
Okay. What we are going to work is something that is a bit more enhanced. So with photos, more details from the investor as well, we can actually generate the schedule of works or scope of works and
Wow.
get much more accurate number. Not, yeah, so it will give you more, like give you indication about what should be the refurb cost for this type of property.
Because this helps, because then if you have a refurb number in your mind, you have no clue on the refurb, then you obviously need to check it with a real human. You need to get a builder to go there and check that. But if their numbers are miles apart, there's two questions. Question number one is this the right builder to get the job done for me? And
Yeah,
this is why you get two or three more quotes. Because Lendlord's saying 6.5, my builder's saying 9. Or number two, is it's gonna, if it's close and they're similar, that's your second quote done, right? So you've got your builder coming at 6.7, you've got Lendlord coming at 6.5, you get your third quote in, it comes in at 7.1. You're there and thereabouts on your figures. So again, quickly you can put your offer in faster than someone that's scraping through Rightmove only to try and find them answers.
yeah. But we will not do the works eventually.
No, exactly. AI can't quite do the works just
Yeah, yeah.
yet. Soon.
All right.
Soon.
So uh, if like we have like yeah like running out of time, but we have many questions. You have time to answer a few questions, Luis? We
I
can
do,
do
yeah, I do, yeah.
minutes perhaps. Um, all right, just to remind you, we showed like so many features that are premium features like share, generate report, comparables, postcode insights. You have a great advantage during this webinar time to upgrade with 50% off. It's only 49.5 for the premium and 150 for the premium plus. Click upgrade from your settings page, or Xenia, if you can put the link again. Make sure you're on annual plan, and then on the coupon code field put 13 11 25, then apply coupon, and you will get the premium with Opium Plus with 50% off for the entire first year. It's very affordable, and you can see you get so much features. Also on the managed side that we did not uh, um, highlighted this on this webinar. Before we go to the questions, we have also the finance tab, and you can get indication. Also, finance is so important, Luis. Like you need some funding to usually to purchase properties, so you can see instantly which lenders are available for you and which products. This is a live feed for mortgage lenders, so you
Love
can
it.
see the products that can actually fund this deal. And if you need bridging, you can use our bridging lender, digital bridging lender, to get indication quotes. Xenia, if you can put the link tree on the chat so you can schedule calls with our team, or just apply online. You can get indicative terms quite quickly and apply online. On bridging, we have some news. We now have dual representation, which speed up the process. We just completed the case in 5 working days. We also can go, if the market value can justify the purchase below market value, so we can go up to 90% of the purchase price. So if we send a surveyor, he comes back with 200, even if you purchase the property at a lower price, we can go based on the market value. And we also have the dynamic product, which you can pay less interest if you repay early. So feel free to schedule calls with our team and get all the information you need. Now, let's go to let's take perhaps like 2 or 3 questions because we're really running out of time. If we did not answer your question, you can reach out to us on the chat here. If you are premium, you can schedule calls, one-on-one calls you will get an email with a link, just premium users. So if you upgrade today, you can get the calls one-on-one. If not, we do have Tuesday workshop every Tuesday for everyone. We also put this link on the chat. Yeah, so let's take 1 or 2 questions. Lewis, if you can look at the chat if there is something that you think that can be interesting for many.
Yes, but just a quick question there. Someone said about after viewing it real life, can you edit the quote for the refurb and things? On Lendlord allows you to edit everything. You can edit the purchase price, edit the end value, edit the refurb cost there. So yeah. Someone asked me a bit earlier on in the chat, how do I recycle the capital? So again, it's probably a slightly newer investor, but the way that you kind of want to work it with a BRR is the reason why you buy it on cash or bridging is because that's a short-term goal, right? So you want to buy it on bridge or buy it on cash, and then ideally within 6 months of owning that asset, then you flip it onto more of a long-term strategy, which is a 2 or 5 year fixed mortgage, which means you can then, if you can recycle some of the capital, as we've already discussed in this deal, and maybe leave in the 20K, that money you get back out from the mortgage, number one is debt against the asset, so it's tax free. But number two, then that allows you to use that capital again to go on to your second and third and fourth and fifth. And the way people go from buying one property maybe in the first 6 months to having 3 by the end of year one is by the money they've pulled out from the first one allows them to buy the next two. And this is why it's super important to learn how to use leverage, whether it's bridging loans, development finance, or raising capital from your network. It allows you to build that portfolio faster. In terms of a couple more questions, I'm just scrolling through. Just ping your question in the chat again at the bottom if you have the question.
Yeah, I think this would be
What
a good
about
idea.
raising additional capital cover refund?
The question about leasehold. I noted this is a leasehold property. Would the leasehold property be a good buy if you are paying ground rent?
Personally, I don't like leaseholds, and that's from previous experience. What I said earlier, when you're buying a leasehold, you own the property below the ceiling and above the ground, but you don't own the building. So 9 times out of 10, you'll have to pay the freeholder a
Yes.
ground rent for the ground that it sits on. That's why it's called a ground rent. And a service charge normally for the communal areas, the corridor up to the flat or the gardens around it. And that's dead money in my eyes because you're paying for that forever and you're subject to that going up by the freeholder. But not only that, your lease you have on that property, maybe it's 150 years today, you pass that down to your children or your grandchildren and it goes to 50 years, your grandchild that owns that house will then not be able to get a mortgage against it because a lender won't mortgage anything less than 70 years on the lease.
We need
So
to
then
extend the list.
pay
Yeah. You will need to extend the list, and I think list extension can be more like very expensive.
costly, yeah. So you're talking 10K plus today's market. In 50 years' time, it could be 50K plus, right? So personally,
We just did a deal. We just did a deal that we helped the investor to extend the lease on a purchase. So
yeah,
basically, what we can do is we can value the property, like if you use like a bridging, yeah, if you like as a bridging lender. So if you purchase a property with a short list and you need to extend it in order to get a mortgage and exit the bridging loan, we can actually lend on the value post extension. And then you will lend you the money as well to extend the lease. And then this is a way around it. But it's a good point. The lease length, it's very it's something that you definitely need to pay attention to. Okay, let's see if we have any other relevant questions. Yeah, Luis, you're on mute, Luis.
Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold right now, so I keep coughing.
Okay, well, no worries. Yeah, yeah.
I know a few of you have asked for the social links to kind of follow us. Is that okay if I share my Instagram?
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I forgot to ask. So if you want to reach out to Luis, this is Instagram. Hopefully, Luis will be also on our experts panel at some point, and then people can schedule calls.
Yeah,
Um,
no, of
and
course. So in regards to following our page, I think Instagram is probably the easiest way to communicate with us. We follow the DMs a lot, but also we're on all the channels. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, every platform you can imagine. If you search Lewis Dawson or Platinum Property Academy on any of them platforms, you're always going to find us there as well. In regards to the other questions, so understanding that recycling with a mortgage tax free, but is that for you personally or a business? No, both really. So wherever you recycle capital using a mortgage, whether that's to you personally or through your company, there's not going to be any tax liable for that debt. Um,
yeah, I think if you have anything, yeah, because we're running out of time, I would say feel free to reach out to us. If there is a question to Luis, we can definitely transfer it to him or contact Luis through the Instagram page that, Luis, can you share it to everyone? You shared it only to host and panelists.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, everyone.
And
Yeah.
in the
What I'll do is
meantime,
I'll share a little training video that I've done as well that you can go and watch. That just tells you a little bit more about what we can do to help. So there's the link there for that. So feel free to go ahead to cross to that and have a look at it. And then I'll share my Instagram link again there for you guys to see.
I will remind you all that if you want to use our premium plan, great features if you want to run property valuations, rental valuations, do smart sourcing with sourcing alerts, contact the agents, and also many great features on the manage section. For instance, the My Documents. If you maintain an existing portfolio, you have to use it because you can store all of your data in one place and also documents for each property. Let me switch to a different account. And on My Documents, you can also send documents for signatures. It can be the tenancy agreement, but basically any signature, any document you want. With Landlord Premium Plan, you can send, it's like DocuSign on your Landlord account. So you just need to put the signature, date, and send it. You can do many signers as you want. This is also available now on My Documents. You have the mileage tracker, some cash flow management, so many features. So upgrade during this webinar tab, you have the 50% off. I will show you how to do it again. Go to your settings page, plan details, click upgrade, then enter the coupon code 131125. Click apply coupon and you will get it for 50% off premium or premium plus. You also get benefits if you apply for a mortgage or arrangement fee. It's better in the premium plus, but also some benefits on the premium. Yeah, so we will keep this Zoom open, I think, for the next few minutes if you still want to upgrade. And let's summarize this webinar. So it was great having you here, Luis, with us. So many insights and valuable information. And happy to, hopefully, we can see you again in a webinar soon. If you want to say a few last words to the audience, and we can wrap it up.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, thanks very much for having me on, Avram. I'm sure we'll be doing many more of these together. And I can't stress enough how good the Lendlord software is, not only today, but also how good it's going to get. And for the price, when I was, when we run our sourcing business, we were spending 10 times this on the softwares that now Lendlord could provide. We were spending over £3,000 a month on just the softwares needed to analyze deals to the level that you now can for even for the premium plus without the 50% discount is £300, which is 10 times less than what we were paying to get there. And I know with Avram and speaking to him and his team that their growth mindset is to keep getting this better and better and better. And I don't think there is a software out there at the moment that can keep up with how quickly these guys are innovating. So, if you haven't got Lendlord yet and you are serious about growing a portfolio, I think, the 50 quid a year or the 100 quid a year or the £300 a year is a small chunk of what you can make back on the returns with the property because you can lose thousands by not knowing this stuff. And that small money that you're going to put into your business, again, like I said at the start of the call, is you're running it like a business, is the return on that investment is going to be tenfold. But like I said, anyone on here that wants to follow us on any of the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, check out, Platinum Property Academy, Lewis Dawson. You can obviously, arrange calls with myself and my team through there, but also hopefully in the near future, I will be on the Lendlord panel where you can actually schedule a call in with myself through Lendlord, and we can really hone in on some of the software skills on there, but also help you on your journey. Again, like I said at the start of the call, I help people like yourselves deploy capital the right way to build wealth today, but more importantly, to leave that behind to kids and grandkids and future generations as well, which we all work so hard for, giving it back to your family. But yeah, thanks very much for having me on here. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll speak to quite a few of you again. And yeah, bye for now.
Thank you very much, Luis, and thanks everyone. We'll see you in the next webinar, and we are keeping this Zoom session open if you still want to upgrade. Thank you. Thanks, Luis. See you next time. Thanks, everyone, and have a great rest of the day. Thank you.